Hi everyone, welcome to the final video for our Latino experience course. I am really happy that we get to be at the end of this journey from the feedback that I received or continue to receive from our mock quiz number 10. It seems that students have learned a lot about the different Latina and Latino experiences in the US. So today I wanted to wrap up with our final quiz, which is going to be, I think, quiz 12, module. Let me confirm that for you. Module 13 is going to be our last quiz. And before I do that, I wanted to take the time because this will be the last video I'll be filming. Pardon my voice. As I said, I've been very sick for the past week and a half, and I'm starting to feel much better, but my voice sounds a little bit strange. Before we kind of delved into content for Quiz 12, I wanted to take the time to kind of let you know how much I've appreciated your genuineness, your candidness, your honesty throughout this semester, in your reflection, in your feedback, in your comments. It has really opened my eyes or expand my understanding, a level of empathy and compassion towards my students. A lot of the times we don't really understand why it is that for some students it is so hard when they fail a class, when they don't get a grade that they were expecting, and why the students get so anxious about different classroom related activities. And hearing your stories about how much education means to your family and how much your family and yourself have had to give up in order to receive proper education has really helped me understand that the stakes are very different for each student, right? And we should avoid, I guess, as professors, generalizing that all students are equals, just as we shouldn't generalize that all human beings are equals, because we are a unique constellations of our history, our culture, our family traditions, our own personality. So I wanted to let you know that I've really learned so much more from you than what I think you have learned from me and this course. And I'm very humbled and happy, and really this I think is going to help me for next semester in being more flexible and being more compassionate towards the different learning styles of my students, and in ways that I can support them better. So thank you for that. And I'm going to do some content, and then I'm going to tie it to a nice conclusion for our course. So our topic for today is politics. I made the mistake of putting the last quiz, in the wrong module. I just changed it. It's going to be under module 13, which is the module that addresses women in politics. And really what I wanted to take at is that while we're seeing, it's not that there has not been in the past women in politics. I think one of the articles, usually forget the author's last name, but one, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is the article on Latina feminism, really does a nice job at summarizing what have been the predominant movements since last century and the predominant political figures in our Latina landscape. So it's not that Latinas are increasingly now joining political ranks. I think that they are becoming ever more visible at this point. I'm so sorry, I made a mistake. The article that I am making reference to is the Hellkamp and Cooper. Wait. Nope. is the Latina feminism and the both of them, the Latina feminism and the Latina feminism article. I'm so sorry. We had so many articles for today. The Latina feminism article is the one that really makes a nice summary about kind of like the different activities and the different movements within Latina culture. So Latinas are gaining more visibility. Obviously, there are more mediums now to be able to reach like a larger landscape. That is not to say that Latinas are still underrepresented in political positions and in the political argument and in political aspects in general. Usually, men tend to command more attention in the media and more traditional sources than Latina do. And we have talked about some of the issues that might be influencing that, I think, in the articles of Hardy Fanta, Bonilla, and Rodriguez, which, by the way, I would highly encourage you to focus on those two articles if you have to really pick and choose which articles are going to help you answer the quizzes. I'm going to say the Hardy Fanta. Probably you should read the whole article. In the Bonilla and Rodriguez, I'm only going to ask you to read the introduction. I think the abstract and the introduction will help you answer some of the quiz questions in the quiz. So Hardy Fanta, Bonilla and Rodriguez. Hardy Fanta, read the whole article. Bonilla and Rodriguez, just read the abstract and introduction, and I think it's going to give you a nice way to answer the quiz questions. But as they're suggesting, some of the issues that really impact or influence the fact that a lot of Latina females are not engaging in politics, or more so, not that they're not engaging in politics, but that they are able to access or aspire to leadership position in politics, is some of the variables that we have discussed in the class throughout the semester, right? Marianismo, or the view that women are circumscribed to the home environment. They are there to keep the family united. They should be passive. They should not be involved in the outside world, including politics. So that submissive and passive role decreases, not increases, but decreases the likelihood of women becoming political leaders. So, and on that note, I also think, even though we're predominantly talking about politics, politics are very wide. Do not assume that politics only refers to traditional political leadership, as in women becoming congresswomen or councilwomen. Politics can also be involve women that can include women that are also involved in social justice and community building, right? Women that may not reach larger political structures like, Congress or councils or local legislations, but also women that are very active in their communities and that are very active in addressing issues of social justice, women that are really organizers of their community and that really help their community. And by community, I really mean not only geographical communities, but communities of transgender women, communities of gay, lesbian, queer women, communities of Afro-Caribbean women, communities of indigenous women. Let's remember that women are leadership roles should not only considered in politics, it should also be considered in these other aspects that I'm talking about. Women that are constantly fighting for community to get better access to education. So political leadership really is a very wide and expansive concept that includes the participation of women in different activities that are political in nature, whether like advocating or arguing for better services, for access to healthcare, for access to education. That should also be included in the definition of women participating in politics. And I think also very important is the fact within women, we also have, I think, one of the pitfalls or one of the issues that I've had with feminist movements, traditional feminist movements, is the fact that historically they have had a predominantly middle class white view of feminist battles, right? Pretty much they kind of encompassed or put in one tiny category, the same category and the same bundle, all Latina women, or all, I'm sorry, all women in general. But I think within the feminist movement, within Latinas in general, we have to consider that there are sub minority groups, right? Latinas that are Afro Caribbean, Latina that are indigenous, Latinas that are gay, lesbian, Latinas that come from minority religious groups, Latinas that are queer. And I think we're doing a much better job in like recent waves of feminism from like the 1980s on, more contemporary waves of feminism of trying to include the different voices within these larger categories. What feminism did in the past was pretty much say there's only one battle that women should have instead of multiple battles. And those battles are going to vary based on your your cultural background, your social background, your family heritage, and your experience as a human being. So I like the idea that we also are seeing that the feminist movement is not a monolithic single movement. It is a movement made of multiple voices based on the different experience that Latina women encounter. And I think that really summarizes the spirit of this course. If I really want you to take something from this course, is the fact to avoid judging or having stereotypical notions or preconceptualizations of all Latinos, because Latinos are not a homogenous group. We're a heterogeneous group with different historical backgrounds, with different political backgrounds, with a rich history of oppression, with a rich history of political conflicts, armed conflicts, internal conflicts, migration, internal displacement. And all those experiences will make you view or feel your experience as an immigrant in the US, as a Latina in the US, very different. I think we should also celebrate in this course our uniqueness and the aspects or the oppressions, the sources of oppression, the sources of discrimination that we have collectively and individually overcome. And I think that comes reflected through a lot of your reflections, that sense of pride, that sense of ownership, that sense of gratitude towards our families and the sacrifices that our families made to come here. So while these norms of Marianismo and familism obviously have negative connotations and impact us as Latinas and Latinos, those same variables have also made somehow the possibility that a lot of my students were able to migrate into the US and are able to be educated and are able to, even amidst difficulties, continue to seek opportunities for growth. So I think there is a sense, obviously, of there are things within our cultural groups that we want to change, but there are also things within those same variables that have also made us who we are, and we should be thankful for that while we continue working to transform those issues, as those cultural issues and aspects that continue to pose a threat, a risk, or hinder our growth. So on that note, please never be upset, or I encourage you, I don't want to tell you how to feel, but I encourage you to try to really understand, even when you don't understand some of your parents' values, some of your abuela values, some of your aunt values. because you have grown here in the US, or for those of you who are not Latinas and Latinos, you might not understand certain things about older generation Latinos. Please keep in mind that as human beings, we do the best that we can, right? We do the best that we can with the resources that we have. And it's certainly not easy, as many of you have pointed in your reflections. It's complicated leaving behind your place of birth and the things that make you who you are. So think about all the sacrifices and the opportunities and the life that some of you or your families have given up to achieve your dreams. I'm so sorry that I'm getting teary. I don't want to edit or cut the video because it's really how I feel towards all my students, regardless of the minority or majority group that they come from. So value and understand, even if you have a difficulty comprehending it, understand that people do the best that they can with the resources that they have at hand. And the same will be true about your clients. So respect their strengths and also respect their areas of challenges, and try to support them to increase their strengths and to overcome their challenges. So it's been a pleasure being with you this semester. Obviously, I'm going to be available via email to help you with any questions that you have about the final reflections. Make sure, please, submit all your materials, quizzes and discussion board posts and final reflection by December 6th, which is the last day that you have. Complete your evaluations. I'm going to add 5 bonus points to the final reflection for pretty much all of you guys. I'm just asking for you to really help me with the evaluation so that I can make this course much better. Have a beautiful day and rest of the semester, and we'll continue talking via email. Bye-bye.